Tonight, starting the new school year under supervision.
Finances are always a challenge for school boards. Again, we'll work our way through this with the supervisor.
The provincial government in control at the Thames Valley School Board. Plus,
this is what I think about Crown Oil.
Pouring one out. Political solidarity for workers at a major southwestern Ontario employer. And home away from home.
I'm nervous for me. I'm very excited for her.
Move-in day for post-secondary students starting a new chapter.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the cloud of uncertainty hanging over the new school year for the Thames Valley District School Board. Officials are dealing with a ballooning deficit while the provincial government has seized control. Brian Bicknell reports.
As families get set for the first day of classes, some may not know who to turn to for guidance. And that's what concerns Beth Mai, the chair of the now powerless Thames Valley District School Board of Trustees.
All of those individuals no longer have any kind of decision-making ability or ability to communicate with their communities. That's particularly concerning for me when I think about parents who might need support with advocacy or navigating the system.
It is the first day of school for the public board since the province appointed a supervisor over financial concerns. In July, it was revealed a budget deficit of $17 million had ballooned to a projected $32 million. But finances aside, Director of Education Bill Tucker says meeting students' needs remains priority one.
Finances are always a challenge for school boards. Again, we'll work our way through this with the supervisor. We have a focus on improving educational outcomes for kids, improving confidence in the education system, and getting out of this situation. And we'll get there.
This past spring, the provincial government placed the Thames Valley School Board under provincial control. Since then, 4 more Ontario school boards have come under supervision. A new bill tabled at Queen's Park would make it even easier for the government to take control of a school board without an outside review.
There's no point in putting more money into a system that is so dysfunctional.
Education analyst and researcher Debbie Kasman says big change is coming to the education system, and that could include replacing trustees with parent advisory councils.
Most parents have no idea who their school board trustee is. Most parents have no idea what a school board trustee does. And the reality is the role and the power has been slowly taken away from school board trustees over the past 30 years.
Education Minister Paul Calandra has said a new governance model for education will be announced by the end of the calendar year. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Meanwhile, post-secondary students are starting a new school year at Fanshawe, facing the possibility of an academic disruption. Thousands of support staff are in legal strike position as of September 11th. With more on that, here's Sean Irvin.
On the first day of the fall semester, Fanshawe College students are focused on a return to classes. So it came as a surprise to those we spoke with that a strike by support workers is possible.
No, I was unaware of that. Not aware either.
So this is news to you?
Yeah, it is.
But to those involved, the potential job action by full-time support staff is no surprise at all. And OPSU Local 109 President Adam Rayfield is gearing up to take action if necessary.
The earliest possible date would be September 11th, next Thursday, as of 12:01 a.m.
Support workers include registrar's office, accessibility, and maintenance staff.
They're the first faces you see when you walk into any academic or student services office, and they're the last face you see as well.
Before program cuts and job reductions were announced in the spring, 1,200 full and part-time support staff workers were employed at the college. Now, those numbers are in a steady decline. Rayfield expects his membership will bear the brunt of a 35% reduction in college staff resulting from a drop in international students. OPSU senior leadership is demanding job security at all colleges in negotiations. However, the College Employer Council said over the long weekend that talks have proven challenging.
We've told them that they have some demands that are simply unacceptable, They couch them in what they call job security, but it includes a demand that there be no campus mergers, campus closures. They have a demand that there be absolutely no reduction or layoffs of their staff, and that's just something that the colleges can't agree to.
So with the countdown to September 11th on, the anxiety of students caught in the middle builds.
I feel like all the teachers would have to push all your courses into like a big package, and dropping all that on you at once could be overwhelming for some.
Yet if support workers do take action, most students anticipate being out of class.
I think we probably can't run without all of those things. I think it's all very important. And yeah, I feel like you need support staff to run the school.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
It was move-in weekend on Western's campus. With more on the excitement and nerves for first-year students starting a new chapter, here's Brent Lale.
I didn't need to get out of the car! Mercy's on the car!
Upper year students help welcome more than 5,000 Western newcomers.
Everyone seems like they're having a great time. I'm just starting to get moved in, so I'm still a little bit nervous.
As we pulled up, they're singing and dancing. Nervous for her. She's a little bit nervous to be away from home, obviously. We're going to miss her, but we're super excited for the opportunity.
As thousands of students make their way onto campus, construction continues on Western's newest residence.
800-bed residence that will be opening in fall 2027. The consultations for this residence are really interesting. We heard from a lot of students that they really want some of the aspects of what you see in some of our other facilities. They want that idea of having a roommate. They want study lounges. They want those places where they can socialize, meet other people. But there's also some new things that we're doing too around health and wellness. Students feel holistically that there's a sense of, everything they need in one place.
This residence is desperately needed as the school is currently at 100% capacity, and they've had a first-year residence guarantee since 1997.
I figured I would be able to be part of the school environment more and make a lot of friends.
As for parents,
I'm nervous for me. I'm very excited for her.
To ease that tension, Western has implemented a special orientation.
We've got a parent and family reception that's happening where we will have some information for parents, how they can stay connected with us and stay connected with each other and their students. We've always had resources in place for parents, so in the form of a newsletter, those pieces, but we're really trying to recognize the opportunity on a day like this to make them feel welcome and part of the community as well.
It's something Amanda thinks is a great idea, with parents dropping off kids from around the world.
You get all those questions that you have answered, and sometimes it's not so easy to find those answers.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Good evening. As some headed back to school today, it was beautiful across the region. Temperatures in the mid-20s. It was comfortable this morning and warming up quite nicely this afternoon. 26 degrees in London. That's our high for the day. And as we head to here on Perth, 22 to 24 degrees in Grey Bruce, sitting at 23. We have had a few pop-up showers in Brant County, Kitchener, Waterloo, Wellington area, starting to fall apart. Not expecting anything in London, but we have had a few very isolated showers in the region. Skies will be mainly clear tonight, but focus will shift to an area of low pressure developing off to the northwest and a cold front that will be moving toward the area tomorrow night. So clear skies, light winds, and temperature dipping to 14 by midnight. Watch for fog overnight. I'll take you through the forecast, and a beauty day setting up tomorrow early. The cold front, though, on the move for tomorrow night.
Thank you, Julie. London police say they've made 6 arrests while still looking for one more suspect after a downtown shooting this weekend. Neighbors told CTV News the investigation appeared centered on this parking lot connecting John and Mill Street. According to police, one victim was taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. They say thanks to surveillance footage, they identified a vehicle which led to the arrests. They also say the gun involved in the shooting was recovered. Lambton public health officials say they've found West Nile virus in mosquitoes in Corunna. They say it's their first detection this year, and they haven't recorded any human cases. People infected with West Nile virus typically only experience mild flu-like symptoms. According to the health unit, your best defenses are DEET-based bug spray, removing any standing water, and wearing long sleeves and pants. London's population growth may be slower than previously thought, according to new projections from the provincial government. It could amount to a difference of more than 50,000 fewer people than projected in the next 25 years. Daryl Newcomb has more on what that might mean for housing development.
Dr. Brendan Samuels believes new population projections released by the provincial government require a significant reduction in the amount of undeveloped land that London will be adding to its urban growth boundary for new housing.
We need to go back and adjust the draft report rather than doubling down on a decision that now seems to be based on outdated information.
The urban growth boundary is intended to control development and prevent sprawl by restricting where development can happen. Its boundary is currently under review at City Hall. In 2024, the Ministry of Finance estimated almost 742,000 people will live in London in 2051. But the 2025 projection is about 687,000, a reduction in growth of more than 55,000 people. This map, developed by city staff earlier this year, recommends adding about 1,529 hectares of developable land for housing.
My back of the envelope calculation shows a little over 900 hectares no longer being needed for housing.
The London Development Institute, a lobbying organization for local developers, warns that if there aren't enough hectares added within the urban growth boundary, land prices will continue to rise and drive up the future cost of homes.
Doesn't mean that we'll be growing out to that urban growth boundary in 30 years. If the projections are right, we will be, but if they're not, that land just stays undeveloped until it's time.
For developers with lands inside those areas under consideration, the financial stakes are high. The value of property can increase 5.5 to 8 times if it moves from outside to inside the urban growth boundary.
We've handed the keys to private interest developers who are going to profit off of these decisions in the short term as well as in the longer term.
The current urban growth boundary has been in place as of next year 30 years. The urban growth boundary that's being out for consultation and for discussion adds the next 30 years.
One would think that our council would want to use the most up-to-date information and be consistent with the provincial planning statement.
A community information session is being held Wednesday at 7 p.m. at City Hall about the urban growth boundary expansion. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
London Health Sciences Centre has filed a multi-million-dollar statement of claim against 3 companies and 2 people, accusing them of negligence. The $20 million suit relates to a large-scale window replacement project at University Hospital, part of an internal investigation into past procurement practices. Among the companies named are London-based JM Windows and Doors, plus companies in Scarborough and Kingston. Hospital officials say they've identified issues with window installation quality, including leaks. Back in July, LHSC filed 2 other civil lawsuits totaling $60 million against former executives and employees over what they call a decade-long fraudulent procurement scheme. None of the statements of claim have been tested in court. The Bayfield Food Bank is moving again. Officials with the food bank say they'll leave their current site inside Bayfield's arena for a spot in a public works building later this month, part of a 10-year lease agreement with the municipality. They say they've raised $135,000 for this summer's retrofitting. The food bank had been operating out of an arena dressing room since April after its previous home was sold and turned into a medical clinic. Hundreds of people came together this past weekend celebrating 150 years of the iconic Blackfriars Street Bridge. Here's a look at some of the festivities.
A wrought iron bridge that's connected London West to the core for 150 years, and that's a big thing. And you know what? For the people in Blackfriars here, to be able to get out and celebrate this, not just with us, but with the neighbors in London, is a great opportunity.
People in New York, they love the Brooklyn Bridge. They go across it, they feel a real connection to it because, again, it's the thing that tied the city together in a much smaller way. This is that, and the restoration they did on the bridge is so beautiful. It's become a bit of an icon for the neighborhood. It kind of feels like it's our symbol.
To bring the neighborhood together and to bring the whole city down here. The bridge doesn't just belong to us, it belongs to the city, and it's been an integral bridge, if you'll pardon the pun, from the west side of the city to downtown. So the fact that it's in our neighborhood makes us feel really lucky and like we want to share it.
Coming up, navigating the road ahead after Donald Trump's tariffs are ruled illegal. Plus, a show of force, China, Russia, and India offering a different option for global leadership.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Catch the action as the London Knights take on the Erie Otters Saturday, September 6th, live at the Western Fair Sports Centre. Enter online at ctvlondon.ca to win a 4-pack of tickets plus admission to the fair.
A U.S. federal appeals court has thrown much of President Donald Trump's tariff strategy into uncertainty. With more on that decision and what it means for Canada, here's Rachel Aiello.
The start of September marked the end of Canada's counter tariffs on U.S. goods covered under CUSMA. But today, Donald Trump showed no signs of reciprocating. The U.S. president is preparing to defend his global tariff regime before the Supreme Court.
Because without the tariffs, this country is in serious, serious trouble.
Trump standing by his trade tactics comes as one cabinet minister asserted today that despite dropping retaliatory tariffs, Prime Minister Mark Carney hasn't put his elbows down.
There's no capitulation. Let's be clear. Zero. Never, never. That's not happening. We're trying to match exactly what the Americans have done.
And trade talks are ongoing.
It's a complicated negotiation.
That negotiation will be a central focus as Carney convenes his cabinet in the GTA. Starting tomorrow, the Prime Minister and his front bench will be planning fall priorities. From preparing for the CUSMA review and supporting tariff-impacted sectors to fast-tracking big projects. To that end, today, Internal Trade Minister Chrystia Freeland hosted a Made in Canada summit at a Hamilton steel plant to try and generate domestic investment in major transportation projects. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
A major security summit is underway in China, a show of solidarity between several countries frequently at odds with Western allies. With more on the event and who is in attendance, here's Mike Lecouture.
The meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is the biggest diplomatic event of the year in China, and many see it as a way for President Xi Jinping to rally countries who have become the target of U.S. President Donald Trump. Preparations have been meticulous for what is being called China's largest military parade ever. Celebrations commemorating the end of the Second World War will also showcase new drones, hypersonic missiles, and fighter jets. Perhaps more important are the guests who will be watching the display of military might. Kim Jong-un arrived on his armored train, a rare foreign trip for the North Korean leader.
Xi Jinping has been promoting this idea since 2017 that China will become the new global hegemon in what he refers to as the community of the common destiny of mankind.
Kim is expected to stand shoulder to shoulder at the ceremony with Russia's president. Vladimir Putin has been attending 2 days of meetings where China's president praised the two countries' lasting good neighborly friendship. President Xi also talked about establishing a model of mutually beneficial cooperation and win-win relations between major powers.
I think Xi is succeeding in presenting an alternative to the multilateral rules-based order that we've lived under for the last 80 years.
That summit included Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, a country dealing with 50% tariffs from the U.S. And some believe China is trying to take advantage of the current global climate.
China is putting on a strong display of strength and is making itself out to be a responsible stakeholder in global affairs.
President Donald Trump was asked about Russia and China forming an axis against the U.S. He says he's not concerned at all about it. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canadian and First Nations actor Graham Greene has died.
Oh, Buffalo, Tatanka, Buffalo.
Greene is best known for his Oscar-nominated role as Kicking Bird in the acclaimed 90s film Dances with Wolves. Greene also starred in The Green Mile, Maverick, and Die Hard with a Vengeance. According to his manager, Greene died in Stratford after a long illness. He was 73 years old. A new era is about to begin for the people behind the Antler River Rally. For more than a decade, they've led the Thames River cleanup efforts, and now they're turning the project over to the London Environmental Network. Brent Lale reports.
Tom Cull will go to great lengths to clean up the Thames River.
We have this gem of a river that runs through our city. It's one of the most biodiverse rivers in Canada.
14 years and more than 150 cleanups later, Cull and his wife are about to turn over their organization Antler River Rally to the London Environmental Network.
We've taken the group and built it and created a name for it, and now it's maybe ready for a new iteration and ready for new leadership and for new ideas.
It is really bad for the environment, for the fish. I mean, look at this. This plastic would have stayed there for centuries.
Going forward, Len will keep the name and the cleanup schedule. That's great news for dozens of volunteers.
We've been partners with the London Environmental Network already for so many years, but they are always looking for new volunteers and to support organizations in the city doing good work. I'm really interested in the intersections between, I guess, environmental problems and social problems in our city, and we see that at a confluence in the river. And a lot of the garbage that we pick up are stemming from these bigger challenges like homelessness. So this has been very informative, and I've also got to meet really cool people and be part of a community that cares about the river.
Unfortunately, some people think of the river as a dumping site, and you know, we've seen it before where people will back their car up you know, to a ravine and just throw their garbage. That's what we're seeing here.
Tom will help the new leadership group with the transition and provide direction in the coming weeks.
It's not the end of Antler River Rally, it's the next chapter.
He's just thrilled the necessary work will continue.
And that's what I love about the hands-on nature of this work, is everything that we pull out is preventing a risk of harm to animals.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Big thanks to everyone who does keep the Thames River clean. It was a lovely weekend to be outside doing that. Lovely day today. But before we get to the forecast, Julie, we have something we want to share with the audience that made us smile here in the newsroom today.
Yeah, a video. Now, sometimes when people see themselves on TV, children, even adults, they get or you, yes, they get pretty excited. Check this video out. Good evening. All right, this is Dougie, and Dougie's from Komoka, but his photo was taken at Ipper Wash Beach, and you can see how excited Dougie is to see himself on TV. Thank you to his mom, Kaja, for sending this one in, and definitely always nice to see that. That's a feature that we air on CTV News London at 11, so if you would like to share a photo of your dog, please send it in. We have our dog walking forecast. Our high today hit 26 degrees, our low temperature of 10. Comparing that with what's normal, today was on the warmer side. Right now, 25 degrees at the London airport. The pressure falling and the winds light on the hour out of the south. We have had a few pop-up showers northeast of London and east of the city. Starting to see some of that activity winding down, but there's still a few showers moving through Waterloo, Wellington area and in and around the GTA. For us, skies will be mainly clear. We'll have some fog develop overnight. Temperatures will be nice and comfortable, and the winds will be light out of the south. Our focus will shift to an area of low pressure developing in northwestern Ontario and a cold front that will be swinging into the area heading into tomorrow night, and that will be generating some rainfall. Now, we have had some warmth on both coasts of the country and through the interior of British Columbia, breaking some records yesterday, and in through parts of Newfoundland, some record-breaking heat. Also, forest fires are moving through, creating very poor air quality in through parts of British Columbia and Alberta this evening. A bit of a cool push coming with the area of low pressure and the cold front that will arrive for us as we head into tomorrow night. The main rain is expected to arrive late past sunset and as we head through the overnight early in the morning. So your day will be dry as the little ones or the bigger ones head back to school, expecting lots of sunshine. It's going to be a shorts and t-shirt kind of day. The forecast high coming into the upper 20s, and it will feel close to 30. By the afternoon, the clouds will start to move in, expecting a mix of sun and cloud. And then by the evening, there is the chance for showers. We'll pick up a little bit of rainfall in Midwestern Ontario late tomorrow evening and arriving later tomorrow night into London. So let's go out 36 hours. You can see that rain about 6 o'clock toward the Bruce Peninsula, just slipping towards Wyerton in and around Lions Head. Possibility of a thunderstorm. By 10 o'clock, you can see some rain arriving to London, and that will continue overnight. About 10 to 15 millimeters of rain is possible. By the morning, still a chance for showers. That's Thursday morning. But by the afternoon, back into a mix of sun and cloud. The cool air, though, will follow this weather system, and that means we will be into some lake effect showers as we head into the extended forecast and some cloud cover. Overnight, 11 degrees in London, 9 in Kitchener-Waterloo, and if you're near Lake Erie or Lake Huron, 15 to 16 degrees. A beautiful sunny start to the day, and that sunshine will continue into the afternoon. The winds picking up out of the southwest. We will see gusts close to 60 kilometers per hour in advance of that cold front, so it will be a warm one. Our Metal Roof Outlet forecast, hot and sunny, and then clouds come in tomorrow night with showers in the forecast as the cold front rolls through. Look at the temperature drop. We're going to go from 27 down to 18. Yeah, that's a bit cool. Showers on a Friday expected, although the probability of 40% chance. This will be a secondary cold front ushering in some cool conditions for the weekend. This secondary front, just about a 40% chance of showers. Saturday and Sunday, although high pressure builds, we will be dealing with off-lake cloud. 18 degrees, and it's that dark cloud that you can look towards the north, and it looks like it's going to rain. It is raining north of the city, and that's what we'll be expecting as we head through the extended forecast this weekend into Midwestern Ontario. So parts of Huron, Grey Bruce, you will remain unsettled Friday into Saturday, and daytime highs from about 16 to 18 degrees. So beauty day tomorrow. I said off the top of the show, gorgeous conditions, lots of sunshine as everyone else heads back to school. I know some people went today. Temperatures are going to be hot and warm in the afternoon, and the cold front comes in tomorrow night with showers in the forecast early Thursday. Carlyle.
Julie, thanks very much. Still ahead, a plant closure turns political. The calls for Crown Royal to be pulled from LCBO shelves after the company announced its Southwestern Ontario bottling facility would shut down.
In case you missed it this morning, it was just announced that our favorite Canadian Josh Ross is coming back to London this February.
He's playing Centennial Hall. We want to get you tickets to the show. Make sure you're listening at 8:35 all week.
Union leaders are meeting with workers affected by the looming closure of Amherstburg's largest employer. They say they're looking at all options to fight back, and today received a symbolic gesture of support from the Premier. Sanjay Maru reports.
So this is what I think about Crown Royal. That's what they could do.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford pouring out a bottle of Crown Royal, urging Ontarians to back whiskey made by workers in this province. This after more than 200 unionized employees learned last week that Diageo will close its Amherstburg facility by February 2026. Tuesday morning, a meeting hosted by Unifor Local 200 for Diageo workers, and for some, the announced closure of Amherstburg's largest employer means the life they've started to build here may already be slipping away.
We literally just moved to Amherstburg. I'm in a one-year lease that I just signed. I'm more so concerned about my kids because I just dropped them off at their new school in Amherstburg today. I don't want to have to put them through that change again if I have to move again.
Union leaders are now weighing how to fight back, even reaching out to the Ford government to get Crown Royal pulled from LCBO shelves in Ontario. The president of Unifor Local 200 acknowledges the impact that could have on Diageo's other Canadian plants in Valleyfield, Quebec and Gimli, Manitoba, but he says a boycott is about solidarity and stopping closures at any Canadian facility.
Because it could be you next, and that's what worries me most. If that's okay in Amherstburg, why isn't it not okay in Gimli? Why isn't it not okay in Quebec?
For longtime employees like this 34-year Diageo worker, the company's decision to close the Amherstburg plant have pushed them into retirement before they were ready.
It's a terrible thing for companies to not care about the people and only care about profits. That's what this place is doing, because that plant is very, very profitable. but they want more.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
Travel experts are predicting fewer visitors to the U.S. as the season turns cooler.
There's so many things that are going on in the U.S., I think, right now that make people a little bit nervous. You know, you see the president taking over the police force in Washington, D.C. and saying that the nation's capital is not safe. You see immigration raids all across the United States. I think the message some Canadians are getting and some people around the world is that they're just not welcome and they don't feel safe.
According to Stats Canada figures, more U.S. residents entered Canada in June and July compared to the number of Canadians making the trip south of the border. Experts say that's likely because of American trade policies, immigration crackdowns, and the president's repeated calls to annex Canada. As digital wallets become more popular and convenient, a warning about the risks if your phone gets into the wrong hands. With more on the security options available, here's Pat Foran.
It's something more of us are doing on a daily basis, paying for items using a smartphone. Digital wallets are fast and convenient.
I can just take it anywhere, whether it's on my phone or on my watch. I know that I always have something to pay with.
But not everyone is convinced it's the best option.
I feel more secure, or just go the old-fashioned ways, use cash.
While opinions differ, there's no question digital wallets are catching on. Once set up, payments are a breeze.
Wherever you go, whatever kind of payment system they require, all you need to do is pull out your phone. No need for cash, no need for plastic.
A Consumer Reports survey found 4 in 10 consumers use their digital wallet at least once a week, but that convenience may come with risks, because if someone gets into your digital wallet, they could access your money in seconds.
There are security features that are built into both your phone as well as the wallet app on it, but they're not always turned on by default.
You want to make sure your digital wallet is locked. Set it so you need a face scan, fingerprint, or passcode to make a payment. You may need to turn these features on. If your phone goes missing, make sure it can be found remotely so you can erase all your data before someone else gets to it. On an iPhone, go to Settings, tap your name, then Find My, and make sure Find My iPhone is on. If you have an Android phone, it's called Find My Device. Just sign in with your Google account and it's enabled automatically.
If you haven't activated it, you need to, and you should practice it. Do a test run to make sure that if the worst happens, you're ready.
And watch out for scams. They're on the rise.
Scams involving digital wallet payment apps have become a serious problem. Some consumers have lost thousands of dollars. So it's important to stay vigilant to avoid becoming a victim.
To lower your risk, turn on transaction alerts for every purchase. That way you can catch anything unusual right away and protect your money. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index finished higher as gains in basic materials offset broader losses. The TSX was up 51 points. In New York, the Dow fell 249, the Nasdaq fell 176. The Canadian dollar dropped a quarter cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $76 an ounce. Oil added $1.58 a barrel. Still ahead, with housing problems persisting, a growing movement in response to revoke Ontario's strong mayor powers. Welcome back. Fire officials in Nova Scotia say the province's largest fire is out of control, preventing an evacuation order from lifting. The Long Lake wildfire is an estimated 85 square kilometers. There are no new reports of damage to structures or homes, though. Yesterday, natural resource officials said winds increased the flames' intensity toward the south, and firefighting crews are using helicopters to drop water on that part of the fire, establishing a containment perimeter. A community in the Northwest Territories is under an evacuation order, forcing residents from Fort Providence to move 2 hours southeast to Hay River.
490 evacuees have registered with us, so approximately 160 of them are on cots in our recreation center. So there's a lot of people that aren't, it's not a comfortable place, but they're not too far from home. We're doing the best we can to make them as comfortable as possible.
Territorial officials say the fire is fast moving, burning within a kilometer of Fort Providence's southeastern edge. It's an estimated 80,000 hectares in size, which is larger than the city of Toronto. More than 100 wildfires are burning in the territory right now, 90 of them considered out of control. A new report is prompting calls on the Ontario government to roll back strong mayor powers. Provincial officials had said they were supposed to help fast-track housing construction, but as John Woodward reports, that hasn't worked out so far.
Building housing among the main goals when Ontario's premier rolled out sweeping changes to city halls across the province, giving mayors extra sway to sidestep city council and hire and fire top city staff. But a new report is questioning whether that's working out.
It's stress built upon stress built upon stress.
Sabine Matheson with Strategy Corp surveyed 32 chief administrative officers in Ontario cities and found deep concerns about the new powers.
We're not getting a lot of the upside, but we're getting the potential risk for the downside, particularly after the next round of municipal elections.
Anonymous CAOs say in the report that being beholden to one mayor forces the CAO to play this political game. Another said the administration is no longer separate from the politics and the relationship is fundamentally changing. A relationship another said could be over when the political wind shifts, saying, "I've just decided I'm going to be fired at some point." Mayors have used those powers to fast-track housing in places like Caledon and Hamilton. But data shows that many more times those powers have been used for something else. One decision in Aurora this spring about a shelter outraged sidelined councillors.
It's an affront to our democracy.
According to provincial data that tracks 50 largest municipalities, 15 of them have exceeded their targets for 2024. 8 are on track and 27 have not met their targets.
The big struggle that's in the way of getting housing built right now has got more to do with the economic fundamentals than it has to do with any quirks of decision making inside city halls.
If the Premier's intent was truly about building homes and about building infrastructure faster, he would see the results and see that it hasn't actually delivered. He would put the strong mayor powers on hold and evaluate why that might be.
A housing ministry spokesperson said in a statement it is the responsibility of the mayor, council and municipality to implement the strong mayor framework in line with legislation and regulations, saying it's up to the mayors to get their house and their city's housing in order. John Woodward, CTV News.
Tomorrow on CTV News, thousands of students across the region return to class for another year. Here in London, 2 brand new elementary schools set to open. Details tomorrow on CTV News at 6.
Thank you to Diane Bedard for this photo of a monarch caterpillar. They need a constant supply of milkweed. That's crucial for their growth and the fall migration from August until October. A cold front on the move brings rain showers on Thursday, a big cool down moving in for the weekend.
First Nations leaders from across the country will gather in Winnipeg this week for their annual General Assembly. However, this meeting is expected to be far from routine. Some chiefs saying this could be their most important gathering ever. Alex Carper reports.
Indigenous leaders from coast to coast are set to meet in Winnipeg this week, with the topic of major national projects expected to dominate discussions.
Conversations are not always easy, but they're necessary. And, you know, I think on the Building Canada Act, there's lots of unknowns.
National Chief Cindy Woodhouse, Neepanak, said politicians will be paying close attention to resolutions chiefs passed regarding Ottawa's major projects legislation, Bill C-5, which has seen strong opposition from some First Nations leaders.
There is First Nations out there that are, it's up to them to say yes or no to a particular project, and we don't know what those are yet.
Bill C-5, which was passed in June, allows projects like pipelines and shipping ports to be fast-tracked without much consultation.
Major project discussions must include us, because these decisions affect our people's inherent right and treaty rights.
Manitoba Grand Chief Garrison Settee says it's not only important for First Nations voices to be heard, but to be part of the decision process regarding future projects on Indigenous territory.
Our leaders will no longer accept any arbitrary or unilateral decisions made by governments without free, prior, and more informed consent.
There are other important topics set to be discussed over the next week, including healthcare, policing, child welfare, and housing.
Rapidly increasing homelessness within the streets of Winnipeg, largest urban Indigenous population in Canada, the socioeconomic disparities within this region are quite significant.
It is important to note that some federal ministers will be in attendance for the meeting, including Crown Indigenous Relations Minister Rebecca Alty. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew is also slated to be part of the gathering. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Kraft Heinz has announced a business split 10 years after completing a massive merger. The two new companies don't have names yet. One of them will involve the brands Heinz, Philadelphia Cream Cheese, and Kraft Mac and Cheese. Oscar Mayer, Kraft Singles, and Lunchables will be part of the other company, focusing on grocery items. Officials with Kraft Heinz say the split was financially motivated. A Bruce County farmer is running to be the next federal NDP leader. Tony McQuail says he's filed his application to succeed Jagmeet Singh. He still needs to be vetted by the party, receive at least 500 nomination signatures, and raise $125,000 to officially enter the race. McQuail says he wants to combine the NDP and Green parties into one progressive choice for voters. He's a 7-time NDP candidate in his home riding of Huron-Bruce, but he's never held a public office. A new parliamentary session will soon get underway in Ottawa, and with it, changing signs of the political times. As Jeremy Sherrill reports, the NDP were long seen as the champions for Canadian workers, but that support has now shifted to other parties.
It was clear months ago on the campaign trail. The biggest political battleground isn't in Ottawa, but in warehouses and factories around the country.
Support of the average working Canadian family is definitely up for grabs.
The support of union workers, once strongly held by the NDP, has shifted. An election collapse for the New Democrats, including in union-heavy ridings, means the party currently without a leader has to change its approach to win back that support, says former party leader Tom Mulcair.
The NDP has to understand that at its very base, you had the labor movement. And they've been taking that for granted, figuring that organized labor would just stay with them.
But they didn't, and both the Liberals and the Conservatives are looking to keep what they took from the NDP.
Conservatives increasingly have realized how to speak to these voters better.
Former communications director to Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, Ben Woodfenden, believes the Conservative Party has connected best with working-class voters.
I think the Conservatives have a real opening here to kind of really solidify their place with these working-class voters and show that they are the party that has workers' interests.
Well, the Liberal Party is trying to make that pitch too.
I think it's about understanding how the labor movement has changed as well.
Though the government's intervention in countless work stoppages, Air Canada being the latest, has earned them criticism from some public sector unions, something this strategist says they'll have to face.
It's really about being honest and creating those relationships that maybe weathered under Justin Trudeau.
The latest data from Stats Canada shows there are more than 5 million unionized workers in the country, a number parties are keenly aware of as they look to solidify the union vote. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
It's Jad Keefe and Backstage Event on Virgin Radio, and we're sending you to London's largest outdoor festival, Rock the Runway.
Tickets are on sale now, or you can listen to us on 97.5 Virgin Radio for your chance to win NoahCon tickets.
Welcome back. A theme park rescue is captured on camera recently in Pennsylvania.
It doesn't matter if it's your kid or not, it's a child that you want to make sure they're safe as possible.
The footage shows John Sampson, a father of 3 himself, scaling a concession stand, climbing onto an elevated monorail track, and taking a stranded boy into his arms moments later. Park officials say the boy somehow accessed a section of the track that was chained and barricaded. And finally tonight, a piece of vintage technology making a comeback. In the midst of the digital age, John Venevalley Rao has more on the nostalgic revival of the typewriter.
For some, it's the love of that vintage sound. Others, the simplicity of it all. A relic that used to be tossed in the trash, instead being treasured.
It's got this beautiful kind of click, clack, clack, and it's just so wonderful to hear that.
Chris Edmondson runs an actual typewriter shop. What in the 21st century may seem surprising.
They're, in a way, industrial art.
He says business has never been better.
When we first started this, we would sort of be excited and happy to sell maybe one every couple weeks. Come in and pick up your typewriter.
But some weeks, he says he can now sell between 5 to 10 machines, with customers paying hundreds, even thousands of dollars for them.
This sort of stuff is vintage.
Edmondson bought his first typewriter as a hobby, but 5 years ago, quit his job in IT to sell and repair them full-time. He says some prefer them over computers. No pop-ups, no distractions, just ink and your imagination.
It's become a therapy for a lot of people who haven't been able to find a way to disconnect from this crazy world that we live in and just simply be with their thoughts and write them on paper.
I love you. Taylor Swift tapped into the trend, typing on a vintage machine in her music video for Fortnite, generating interest among the younger set. And Tom Hanks is a huge typewriter enthusiast, helping to boost their popularity.
What's here? Let me show you.
Martin Howard brought us to the basement of his Toronto home.
Here are some of my beauties.
To show us his personal collection.
They're all from the 1880s and 1890s.
For more than 30 years, he's researched and restored some of the world's earliest typewriters. He has 75 of them, the biggest such collection in the country.
I found my first typewriter in a junk shop in Aurora, and it was a Calligraph 2 from 1886, and my course was set.
Howard pleased to see the old machines get renewed interest from the likes of Swift.
It makes it hip is what it does. It makes it really hip, and it allows people to consider buying them.
Machines once muted, again making noise and tapping out a new chapter. John Venevalley-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.